About 530 years ago, in October 1492, the Italian navigator Christopher Columbus landed in the Bahamas, off the coast of the American continent. Hello. Today marks the date when America was discovered in 1492, and Christopher Columbus is acknowledged as the explorer of America. However, stories from Indian epics dating back to the 13th century claim that Scandinavians reached America approximately 500 years before the Spanish exploration expeditions. Furthermore, archaeological studies conducted today confirm the presence of Vikings in North America. So, why do we continue to write in history books and teach in schools that Christopher Columbus found America? We'll answer this question before the end of the video. First, let's delve into the dusty pages of Viking sagas and attempt to systematically explore the fascinating stories of Viking expeditions to the North Atlantic. Subscribe. Well, the history of European travels to America dates back to around 550 years before Columbus's voyages. The earliest documented of these journeys is the navigation of St. Brendan, also known as St. Brendan's Voyage, recorded in a medieval account. Vikings had established contact with the Faroe Islands and Iceland in the 9th century when they began raiding Britain. They believed there were other suitable islands further west and set sail to search for them. During these voyages, when the monks reached the Faroe Islands and Iceland, it is confirmed in historical records. However, the part of the story extending to the coast of North America remains uncertain. The narrative gets lost amid details about icebergs, volcanoes, and whales mentioned in the monks' accounts. After the monks' journeys, Scandinavians, particularly Vikings, started raiding Britain in the late 8th century. By the beginning of the 9th century, they established contact with the Irish and learned of other islands suitable for settlement to the west. The Book of the Icelanders, written by the monk de Quille around 825, mentions that the Vikings first settled in the Faroe Islands, named so because of the sheep brought by the monks. Vikings reached Iceland next around 860, driven there by a storm while heading to Denmark for marriages. One ship, the Gardar, was caught in a storm and drifted to an unknown landmass with high cliffs and icy terrain. Initially unattractive, the harsh weather made returning difficult. So, Gardar and his men landed on the northern coast of the unfamiliar land, later known as Greenland. They explored the region and, when setting sail again, left behind a slave and a maid due to the challenging conditions. These became the first inhabitants of Iceland. Another Viking, named Nadod, got stranded on a similar journey in 860. He was driven off course by a storm to a landmass he named Snaeland, Snowland, but it didn't captivate him at first. Yet, unfavorable weather conditions made it impractical to return immediately. So Nadod and his crew explored the land, and when they set sail again, they named the region after its harsh conditions, Iceland, meaning Iceland. Music. In 874, Ingólfur Arnarson, with his wife and household, left Norway and settled in Iceland. Successful in establishing the settlement, by the mid-10th century, Iceland's population had grown to a few thousand people. However, the idea of exploring America loomed on the horizon. Around the early 11th century, Gunnbjörn Ulfsson, a Norse explorer, encountered an unknown land while sailing to Iceland. The landmass he saw may have been Baffin Island. Yet, it wasn't.